Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of K9 Legends and Trailblazers. I'm super excited about today. We get to talk about a couple different things. We get to talk about military working dog history, and then we get to talk about a nonprofit that is really just doing amazing things for veterans out in the world. I want to welcome to the show Mr. Adam Griffin. Hey Adam, how's it going, bud?
Pretty good, Joe. Pretty good. It's an honor to be here, man. To even be considered to be on the show is an honor.
So Adam's very modest, and he's not going to tell you all about him until I make him. But Adam came up through the United States Marine Corps. I first met Adam down at Lackland Air Force Base, 341st Training Squadron, where we were trainers and instructors together. But I'm gonna back it up because I want Adam to kind of set the stage for y'all about his military working dog career and then what he's transitioned into today. So Adam, probably you've seen a couple of the episodes. You kind of know how this goes. Is I want to know what Adam was doing before he decided to go in the Marine Corps.
Raising hell, getting in
Yeah,
trouble.
yeah,
Uh, I dreamed of being an architect. Actually, I wanted to design houses for a living,
uh-huh.
but math and I didn't get along, and I quickly realized that architecture and math kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah,
So that dream ended. Classes and girls got in the way of college.
yeah,
So there was one choice. I had to get out of town,
yeah.
and I happened to be walking through the atrium the morning of 9/11 of the college, and watched everything unfold. And from there, it was let's go. Let's get the fight on. Take it back to them.
So you joined the Marine Corps.
Yes, sir.
And where'd you grow up at, Adam?
I, Man, all these people in the South gonna hear me, and I'm gonna be shunned, bro.
Yeah,
I was born in upstate New York.
upstate New York. Okay.
Upstate New York,
Hey,
small.
we won't hold it against you, man. At least you came to your senses eventually, right? No, I'm just
Well,
kidding for all
I
my.
married a Southern girl. The Marine Corps kept me in the South.
Okay, well that's good enough. We'll take that.
There you
Um,
go.
so you end up in boot camp. You go East Coast, West Coast, probably East Coast,
Parris Island. Yes,
Paris
sir.
Island. So at some point in Paris Island, you get through boot camp, you get over to MP school, I'm assuming, and then you have some opportunity to become a K9 handler. Talk to us about that.
Kind of funny. I walked into the recruiting station and immediately told the recruiter exactly what I wanted to do.
Yeah,
I want to be a dog handler. I want to handle dogs.
yeah.
And he kind of laughed at me. And his name is, you might remember the name, Don Albers.
That sounds very familiar.
He was at the Marine Corps detachment while we were down there.
That's right.
Don was actually my recruiter.
That's right.
The senior enlisted advisor of the recruiters at that branch at MEPS.
Nice.
I told him, hey, I want to be canine. He laughed. He said, I can't make you a dog handler. You got to be an MP first.
Right.
And that's where he left it. I said, okay, you get me as close to it as you can, and I'll get myself the rest of the way.
Yeah.
The rest is history. But fast forward, but down to Lakeland, and who do I run into? The first thing I run out of the elevator, up onto the second deck, Don Albert.
Yeah,
Don Albert.
that's cool.
He didn't tell me that he was an MP
No,
when
he did.
when he was my recruiter. So
Yeah,
he knew right off the bat that I had a 50-50 shot at even becoming an MP.
right,
In MCT, they could have sent me to corrections
right.
instead of MP.
Right.
Well, I got selected for MP school, and from MP school there at Fort Leonard Wood, uh, I was selected out of 5 Marines. Uh, two of the 5 were sent to canine school.
Right.
Uh, went down to Lackland, and that's when the fun began.
Oh yeah, different kind of place for sure. Um, so you came directly from out of MP school right down to Lackland. Probably a little bit different scene, than being on a Marine Corps base coming to an Air Force base. Probably a little bit of shell shock in the beginning. But one thing I always say about Lackland, what probably the best opportunity I ever had in my life was to
Oh,
be assigned there and be around just legends, pretty much, right? Legends and trailblazers at that point of taking reps and learning, under some of the best people. So you get over there and just like, anybody else, they start you over at the dog training squadron, right? Who'd you end up on a team with over there?
that time we were cradle to the grave,
Mhm.
meaning we had one set of instructors from block 1 carried over to block 2,
Okay.
and we both know later on that changed. But
Yeah.
so I won't call out rank because I forget rank,
Yeah, of course.
but um, I do know that I had Staff Sergeant Richardson, a
Yeah.
Marine.
Okay.
Remember that rank
Yeah.
distinctly. I do believe he went on to OCS after Lackland and retired. Uh,
That's correct.
Colonel or Lieutenant Colonel, maybe. Um, but anyway, I had him, uh, Army Sergeant. I want to say he may have been Staff Sergeant Oppenheimer,
Okay. Yeah, I know Oppenheimer well.
and a female Air Force, and I believe she was a tech sergeant, but I can't remember her name, but ski is ringing a bell.
Yeah,
Uh,
I know
so
exactly who you're talking about. Yep.
artist,
We're just gonna call her Ski because I think it's a really long, weird name, Kaziski or something like that. But I know who you're talking about.
yeah. So those were my instructors. Marine wise, down there at the detachment at the time, we had Thayer was there, Norman was there,
Yeah.
Killingstad was there.
You get through block one, block two. Where's your first duty assignment out of there?
After K9 school, I ended up right back outside the gates of Parris Island. I ended up at Marine Corps Air Station, Beaufort, South Carolina.
Okay. Okay. I think Norman did some time at Buford. I think
I,
Robert Norman was a
Norman did. Um, Actually, 2 more names you'll recognize easily is Rudy Hernandez and
yeah.
Apollinario.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
Uh, they were they were actually at the kennel when I got there.
Well, man,
Apollo,
yeah, I mean, what a great start to your career, man. Like,
oh,
Rudy and Apollo both. Just, I'd run into them later when they come to DTS and they'd work with them a little bit. Just phenomenal, phenomenal patrol guys, man. Um,
absolutely,
Rudy he was probably one of the most influential patrol dog guys I had seen in a long time, aside from Chris Knight. And kind of on that same level, Rudy would do things with dogs that you wouldn't believe even possible. Um, and I think he had spent quite a bit of time with Doc Hilliard, working special projects with Doc Hilliard. So, he got to do all the wild shit like pop a balloon over a dog's head and run a vacuum up their ass, all those times, all those things that Doc can do that nobody else could do. But yeah, what a great
the
start,
only
right? What's that?
that only Doc would think of.
Yeah, yeah, of course, of course. And I think I'm getting ready to air his episode, Doc. We had a really, really long interview that was really amazing. So I can't wait to release that. But so you get to Buford, and Buford, for people that don't know, it's a smaller Marine Corps base, not a huge Marine Corps base. But did you guys support Parris Island as well?
Actually, Parris Island had their own. When I first got there, they had their own MP station and their own kennel.
Okay.
Later on, the uh, military police from both bases combined into one in headquarters.
I got
Was
you.
the air station, and the annex was at Paris Island.
I got you. Kind of like
Um,
Lackland, Medina, kind of that
yes,
same, yeah, yeah, same kind of thing. So you,
and the kennel combined. So now we went from a 4 dog kennel to I believe 9.
yeah, oh, that's significant, right? Doubling overnight, man. That's interesting. So from Buford, you cut your teeth there. You got some quality Marines, and you're coming up under learning the ropes, right? Like all of us, learning how to be a cop at the same time, learning how to be K9. Um, so when you when you're at Buford, do you get any deployments anywhere, or you go somewhere else after that?
I did. I actually deployed out of Beaufort to Iraq, um, through by way of Camp Lejeune.
Okay.
And at that time, really you know, nobody had used dogs.
Yeah.
It'd been a long time since dogs had been used.
Yeah.
Uh, so they really didn't know how to employ us then. But so we just kind of went out, and I ended up on FOB Iskandaria.
Okay.
Uh, that's where I was at, in Iraq. Explosive dog handler. Uh, Quite the experience.
Well, yeah, man, and I recall I had a guest on earlier, and it was kind of the same thing, when the war first kicked off and we started deploying bomb dog teams over there. It really wasn't a lot of support guidance or do this with your dog. Here's the standard because you're first ones in, so you kind of just do what you know. You know you need to do explosive searches. You know you need to do patrols. So you just kind of not make it up as you go along, but you kind of establish the SOP yourself, and
Right.
then wait for the next guy to relieve you, and then you're like, hey, this is what I've been doing, da 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 da, and so on. And I think that's how SOPs and policies and all that get built, from the first guys. And I remember that in Pakistan, right after 9/11, I deployed over there, right on the border, and kind of same thing, first guy on the ground. So you kind of establish the policy. Hey, okay, we're gonna rotate. We have a limited amount of dog teams, so I'm going to rotate to this vehicle checkpoint here. I'm going to do the perimeter here. What's the need, right? Looking for what that need is for that dog team to be out there. So you get over there, you get that first deployment under your belt, right? As a military working dog handler, and in Iraq, what's next? You obviously you make it back okay. You get back, you go back to Buford, and then what comes next?
I no sooner got back to Beaufort, and we had a new influx of handlers come in,
Yeah,
and it was time for me to rotate or get out.
yeah,
Um, I was ready to get out at that point.
yeah,
I, it pushed me to the point where I was like, all right, I've had enough. I'm good.
yeah.
I came to do. It's time to go. My wife had different plans. She surprised me. She said, "No, let's stay." So I
Okay.
said, "All right." So another name, two other names you'll recognize right off the bat. Two legends again, Scott Sheridan
Oh
and
yeah,
Alan McGuire,
yeah,
were at the kennel at the time. They were brand new handlers. I was taking them over to see the monitor. The monitor was like, "Hey, you're due for orders or re-enlistment, aren't you?" Yes, Master Guns. It's Master Guns Binky at the time.
yeah.
And he waved the carrot in front of me. You want to go to TS? That blew my mind. I was a corporal.
Yeah,
I'd only been a handler for 4 years.
yeah,
Uh, it blew my mind that they was going to send a corporal down there.
yeah,
Uh, what have I got to offer?
yeah,
I was dumbfounded.
yeah,
But he waved that carrot. I grabbed it, went to Lackland, and that's really when the learning started taking place. That's
right,
really when I became a dog handler that understood how to train a dog.
yeah, yeah,
Uh, so we get to Lackland. I end up on Team one was David Santos was on
Okay.
there.
Yep.
Uh, it was Corporal James at the time.
Okay. Okay. I remember him.
Tech Sergeant Dezot.
Those I.
Dozot, yep.
Yeah.
Um, I learned a lot from him. Uh, uh,
So yeah, so not a bad team to be a part of, right? Some good quality trainers, instructors. You got Randy Dozot. I think Randy is now owns a Sears or something, man. I spoke to him about 10 years ago. So Randy, Dave Santos, phenomenal dog trainer. Probably one of the most underrated dog trainers out there, and just because he's so quiet, And
is
but what you don't see is how Dave communicates with them dogs, man. Like he must speak dog because he always gets the dogs to do exactly what he wants them to do.
we
Uh,
used to tease him about that. He wouldn't talk to anybody but a dog.
yeah,
Uh,
I don't
it,
think Dave likes humans. I think he only likes dogs, but that's
exactly.
okay.
That's all right.
That's all right. So yeah, so you start getting your foundation in, right? And like you said, you know, um, you think you know training until you go down there and you get on a green dog that knows only a very minimal amount, enough to purchase them, right? Bite and hold, search for this Kong. And then you start shaping that dog into a military working dog, and that process takes some time. It's not like this is something that happens in a couple weeks. If I remember correctly, anywhere from 4 to 6 months for each discipline. I think patrol was probably about 4 months and detection maybe about two. Um, I could be off on that, but
I
you're
think it
getting those, yeah, you're getting those reps, man. You're getting more leash in your hand. You get more time with dogs. And what year was that? You said about it was
was
2000 what?
oh
06?
'06 to '09. I was at Lackland as a
Yeah. So oh 06 was still hot and heavy, high TDR numbers. Probably at that point, more Marines that dog handlers that had ever been assigned to the 341st, more Marine trainers. They were coming in by the dozens, which was good. It was good to see, right? Because for a long time, the Marines were a very small portion of that, you know, uh, even at block one, block two instructor side, but the 341st as a whole. And then you started seeing more Marines, more Army. It just started building, and I'm not sure what their numbers were up to, but it was huge. Um, so you get there, man, and you start, like anybody else, you're on that training side. At some point, and because this is when I think when I met you, when you came there, I was over at SSD already. Um,
yep.
so when you came in, SSD was already up and running. But I think when I really started getting to know you is when I went over to block one, and we started teaching block one. So talk to me about that, the difference in, what you do with a dog every day versus trying to get that over to a student now and have that student progress through that process.
Oh man. Um, it's it was definitely a whole new no a whole new experience, brand new learning curve.
Yeah.
I kind of like Dave. Um, I was a pretty quiet young Marine, I grew into it after a while, but um, I didn't I didn't know how to communicate with the student at first.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to make that translation from hey, I know it here.
Right.
How do I get it from here up your leash?
Yep.
Uh,
100%.
and like you said, there's quite a learning curve there. And if again, I had Rudy, I run into Rudy again.
Yeah.
Uh, he took me under his wing, kind of showed me the way. Um, I ended up being able to shadow John Granat, uh, Bayer,
Oh
uh,
yeah. Great instructors.
great, great instructors. I don't think I would have ever been able to teach POC, principles of conditioning, if it wasn't for Ortega.
Robert Ortega. Yep.
He had a way of teaching POC nobody else could.
Yeah.
So he taught me how to break that down. Um, just I made it because of guys like y'all, Dave Cochran, Kerry Ford,
Yeah.
um, Chris James. I think I already mentioned.
Ray Rivera was over there. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Ray Rivera.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Uh, just a bunch of good guys. Ronnie Holland.
Yep.
Uh, uh, man.
That's a solid cast, man.
Whew.
And the thing for with Lackland is for me, I could only do so much of it, right? Like I got to a point when instructing where I'm like, how come you don't know this yet? Like, and when it gets to that point, you're like, all right, maybe I've been over here too long, time to move on. So I'm sure you got to that point at some time too. And thank you for your service there, man. A lot of people don't give themselves credit with instructing the nation's military working dog handlers that go out there and do save lives, documented on a regular basis. It happens. The deterrence alone for those dogs saves lives, and nobody will ever even realize that. So,
Right.
so you get there, you finish up your tour there, but that's not it for you. You leave there. Where you go?
I go from there and I head to Quantico, Virginia.
Yeah,
And there wasn't room in the kennel for me at first when I first got there. So I took over as a watch commander for a little while. Um, and then I quickly got picked up into the kennel uh, and became the chief trainer for a little while underneath Dana Stroud, Dana Brown.
yeah,
Um, and uh, guys like man, Justin Armstrong.
yeah.
He was actually a student of mine that I come across, run back into. Justin was one of my first students. So now I had him at the kennel. Uh, Connor Bradbury, Dave Olzak, um, Cody Hallmark, just a bunch of young blood that really took over. And it was also my first experience with the civilian dog handlers and the civilian police as well.
Yeah.
The Marine Corps had transitioned to using uh, civilian help for MPs, law enforcement, stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I think Joe Kang was one of those for a
Yes,
long time. Yeah, yeah. Joe Kang was a student of mine on SSD program years before that. But yeah, very
there's
cool.
nothing there.
Yeah, good deal. So yeah, get out there, you got the new blood coming in. You're probably starting to feel like an old salty dog at that point. You got a deployment under your belt. You've been down to the schoolhouse. I always felt it was a little different when I transitioned back to the field from being at 341st so long
Oh,
because you have a different standard and a mindset when it comes to training a dog, right? And you have to understand that not most of them they're never going to go through that. So yeah, man, that transition of being of going back out to the field once you've instructed students and you've trained dogs from green, it's a little different because you're more of a problem solver at that point, right? Like you can see things in handlers that you didn't see before when you're out in the field. You can see things in dogs that you didn't see before. And not only can you see them, but now you know how to fix them, right? So that makes you a valuable asset to not only the Marine Corps, but your unit you're assigned to. So you're in
correct.
Quantico, and I can only imagine the kind of optics, being at Quantico, everybody wants to see. So tell me a little bit about Quantico. What do you remember most from there?
Man, the most I remember from Quantico is definitely that transition you're talking about. Um, I held myself to a new standard.
Yeah,
I held I held the dogs to a different standard. I held the handler, and then I held the team
yeah,
to a different standard.
yeah,
Um, and for the guys that I instructed at canine school, and then ended up being their trainer or their kennel master later on in my career,
yeah,
all they remembered was that mean instructor,
Hmm.
the guy that was at the barracks every night
Yeah.
raising the hell, you know,
Yeah.
they didn't know the field side of me and
Yeah.
how I operated in the field because
Yeah.
it's totally
Yeah.
definitely that transition from instructor to trainer again back in the field was definitely tough. I would say my biggest asset at that point to help me through that was actually one of the civilian MPs, Jim Velosin, um, he was a Marine dog handler back in the day. Later come back as a civilian dog handler. Had done some time with the State Department for a little while. Worked with some other contracts and stuff like that along the way. So he was very well rounded.
Yeah.
Helped me tremendously run the political side.
Right.
Because I didn't want to be behind the desk. I wanted to be in the field.
Right.
You know, I wanted to be out watching dog teams, fixing dog teams, because we're still deploying.
Yeah.
We're still deploying at this point. So I'm looking at things at a different light now, saying, "Hey, I'm not just training dogs. I'm
Right.
training our team to go downrange."
Yeah. You know where they're going. Yeah. I mean,
It changes. It changes.
yeah, it changes. It changes everything, man. Um, so you get there, you're doing a lot of good stuff with Marines, getting them trained up for deployment, doing their rotations. What's next?
After Quantico, um, I get some orders to Camp Lejeune,
Mm,
back to meth,
yep. There you go.
and man, that's when the rubber met the road. That's when my skills, my experience, my professionalism was really tested.
Yeah.
Not only because of where I was, but who I was surrounded by.
Nope.
I had uh, guys at that hell, the kennel master at the time was the legend himself, Frank Ginn.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Uh, Massart Ginn,
Yeah.
um, probably the most influential Marine I ever came across
Yeah.
in my career,
Yeah.
both professionally and personally, by far. But I had so Ginn was the kennel master. Chuck Rotenberry, chief trainer,
Yeah.
assistant AM. We had Brian Burgess, Scott Sheridan.
Wow.
I mean,
What a crew.
Whitty was there. Man, we were stacked.
Yeah.
So much experience there, so much competition between us.
Oh yeah. I can only
Uh,
imagine, bro. Yeah.
so I mean, the competition between us staff NCOs at the time only made better Marines
Oh, 100%.
handlers. They saw us. They wanted to be. They were like, "Holy cow, I got
Right.
to get to that."
Yeah.
Um, some of them have.
Yeah, yeah, you're absolutely right, man. I just went to the 25th War Dog Association not too long ago, and I watched those. I remember, very very young K9 handlers in the game now up and leading the pack. Leading the
Absolutely.
pack, and it's great to see, man. That legacy never dies, and that they hold the standard, they toe the line, just like we did back in the day. And it's a different time now. It's not as heavy in conflict as it was. I think for us, we were built by fire, man. There was
Oh
no
yeah.
options, and we spent most of our careers either supporting Iraq or Afghanistan war. Um, but we couldn't have done it without them. That's for sure. they carried the torch and they did they represented the K9 community a fucking amazing way. And to see them all grown up now, to see them
It's
being
correct.
being leaders within that community is just I don't know if it makes me feel old or just makes me feel proud or both, but yeah, it's good
Well,
to see, man. So I know, the MEFs for people that aren't aware, Marine Expeditionary Force, these are huge K9 units that have so many capabilities, specialized search dog, military working dog, EDC, combat tracker, you name it. If it's part of the military working dog program, it's there. Matter of fact, I was contracting at the time that you were up there and with K2, and we came up to I had a little project with Mike Wells where we
yep,
were going up to collar condition military working dogs. Well, the goal in it was trying to force fetch a military working dog so that we could utilize a traditional military working dog like an IDD dog, with all the handling, the same handling skills of an IDD. I think some of it went pretty well. I remember there was one trainer that he got his ass tore up. I think I think his arm is still injured. And I ain't gonna say his name on here, but um, man, and that was something, right? A little bit of collaboration and probably maybe your first experience with field trial trainers, and that
well,
capability. And it transitions into something we'll talk about later, kind of where you are now. But isn't that a crazy coincidence, right? Like you meet these guys, some of the country's best field trial trainers are up at Camp Lejeune, trying to work through this project. And I don't know if you remember Pat Daynall, but Pat Daynall was a part of that guy from up in Rhode Island, Northeast. Great guy. Still talk to him this day. One of the best retriever trainers I ever met in my life. That is still living. Rest in peace to Bobby George. But anyway, so you get there, the job there is different, right? Very different because really you're training up dog teams, Marines to do the push, right? To get back in the fight. And when the MEFs go, they go in full force. This like I said, it's an entire operation. The kennel master, the trainer, the handlers, they all go. They all go. So you train them up and you push out. I'm assuming you probably went to Camp Leatherneck to start.
I did. We started at Leatherneck,
Yeah,
uh, and you do your 2 weeks, turnover, acclimatization, all that stuff.
yeah,
Kind of learn the ropes, learn the AO, learn the just how things operate, how get some intel from the other dog handlers.
yeah,
Kind of like a good pass down,
yeah,
way forward. Hey, this is where we're at. Things like that. But Afghanistan is definitely a different beast for me this go round because not only uh, was I a staff sergeant at the time, so I'm in a leadership position
yeah,
downrange, making hard decisions. But I also went as a handler,
yeah.
and the funny thing is, I went with an SSD,
Oh
and I'm
wow.
SSD.
Adapt and overcome, Marine.
That's right, baby. Adapt, improvise, and overcome, and
There
that's
you go.
exactly what we did. And my role over there this time was literally just working with the uh, Afghani drug and addiction team. Uh,
Okay.
we'd drop in uh, from above, clear a route. They'd go in and bust it all up and pull out all the
All the
drugs,
all the hash.
all that black tar, heroin,
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah,
uh, ruin their day, take the
yeah,
fun. Um, but yeah, that was my role there. Um, rough go.
yeah,
We lost a dog
yeah,
to a Zora. We lost her to a grenade over the wall.
yeah,
Um, a bunch of Purple Hearts, um, and unfortunately a KIA.
yeah,
Josh Ashley.
yeah. I remember that. I remember that. You know, think about that AOR, man. And thing about Afghanistan during that time frame is, I went over 2 9-month pumps as a contractor, and man, Helmand Province was one of the most dangerous places in the world by far. Because you never know what you were getting into there, man. Depending on which part of Helmand Province you were in, could have been insane. I remember singing, I remember Musakela, even the base that we were on at Camp Leatherneck came under attack. 16 insurgents, hopped the fence. Shit, I remember crawling on top of the can and looking at it and watching it. But a lot of we focus a lot on the tragedies that happened there. The Marines that gave the ultimate sacrifice, the dogs that gave the ultimate sacrifice. But we also got to remember the lives that were saved, man, and there were a lot. If it had not been for those working dog programs, those SSDs, combat trackers, military working dogs, we would have brought a lot more Marines home in body bags. So I thank you again for your service there, man. It's not an easy assignment, especially as you're a staff NCO and you have Marines under you, that you're responsible for. And I know how Marines operate. I've been around them long enough to know that they wear that badge of honor proudly to be that staff NCO and to be the protector, the mentor, the guide, the disciplinary of those young Marines. So don't ever sell yourself short on that, man. It's a whole different ball game. No offense to my Air Force brothers and sisters. I love you. I came up in the Air Force, but I didn't know what real combat was until I deployed with infantry Marines in Afghanistan, supported infantry Marines in Afghanistan, and put my life in the hands of infantry Marines in Afghanistan, which I would gladly do 100 times over because I never felt so safe in my life. Even in the middle of all that shit. But so you get through that one, and what year was that, Adam?
2012
So I was
was
there. Yeah, I was there. I was already there because I was there when Chuck got injured. Yeah, I was there from pretty much like 2010 to 2012 or 13. So yep, okay. And I've been down to y'all's compound plenty of times. There's a nice little compound, got a memorial up there for one of the Marines that had fallen there, named the camp after him. Uh, and I think it was Donahue, right? Was that Camp Donahue? Yeah. So Camp
special
Donahue. What's that?
special special kid right there.
Yeah,
Donahue, going back to Lackland and John Granat and
yeah,
John and I happened to be a floater that go round. Um, and I ended up on John's team for a little while and had the privilege of teaching
yeah,
Max.
yeah.
So yeah, it that one hit kind of hard too, but it was cool to be on a fob on a base that was named after him. That was
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, really, really cool, man. We respect and we honor that sacrifice. And I think John is John's in the process of working, John's a musician. He's in the process of working on a song to honor those fallen. It's really, really good. And I'm not gonna spoil it, but John's in the studio getting it professionally done. And I can't wait till he's finished with that because I'm gonna highlight it on the show for sure. Um, so, just like most of the guests here, you do a couple pumps. At some point you decide, hey man, that's it. That's it for my military career. Talk to me about that.
Yep, that the decision to get out at 12 years already in uh, actually was a pretty easy choice for me.
Yeah.
To some, it sounds silly. You got
Yeah.
8 to go, man. Hold on, you can do it.
Yeah.
However, my Afghan trip, uh, the morning I was leaving for Afghanistan, my daughter, who happened to be 4 at the time, uh, kind of tugged on my arm, and she said, "What am I supposed to do if you don't come back?"
Wow.
A 4-year-old shouldn't have been processing that, shouldn't have understood
Uh,
all. But I knew right there that I was like, I can't put my family through this. My son was 6 months old.
wow.
My wife, I left my wife behind to like all of us did.
Yeah.
Left them to keep the home fires burning and all this and that. And I couldn't do that to them anymore. It had become the point to where my family was more important
Yeah.
than
100%.
career.
100%. I get that. But it doesn't end there for you, my man.
It
So
doesn't.
so we transition out of the military, and it's a scary world. Coming from knowing what you're going to be doing every day, knowing and understanding the processes of how to be successful in the military, especially in the Marine Corps, um, to something brand new. So talk me through that.
Well, I tried I tried to do stay canine. You know, the dogs the dogs are in your blood.
Yeah.
Uh, I tried to stay canine, tried to get on with a few contracts and things of that nature, but kind of flashing back to what we talked about earlier, that standard that we hold ourselves to,
Yeah.
I quickly realized that the outside world, the outside canine community, um, not taking stabs at anybody, but it was more about the dollar bill than the quality of the dog.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you could.
Those dogs are still downrange. There's still lives
Yeah.
behind.
Yeah,
And
I saw that with some contractors, man. And I've seen both sides. I've seen really good ones, and then I've seen some that you're like, man, that's dangerous. That's dangerous. So yeah, so you look at a couple contract companies, coming from a very high standard of Marine Expeditionary Force, and then all the knowledge and background that you've had over your career. I could see that. Okay, it's just not for me, right? This is not for me. I'm gonna go find something else to do. So what'd you end up doing?
I closed the chapter, which we'll talk about later, which bad move on completely closing the chapter. But I end up working for the Navy, and
Okay,
uh, I become a configuration manager for the Navy. Um, Simplest way to put it is logistics. I
right.
run logistics for the Navy.
Yeah,
Uh, Very heavy on processes and things of that nature,
right.
but brand new. I don't know a thing. I'm the lowest man on the totem pole. I've been a Marine, a crayon eater for my whole career, man. Now I got to learn a whole new job.
Right.
Um, so I do. I mean, I'm still there. I still work for the Navy.
Good.
Uh, but Going back to closing the chapter, I closed the chapter, or I closed the book so bad that I shut everybody out.
Yeah, it happens. It
Uh,
happens.
I lost contact with a lot of guys that I leaned on a lot throughout my career, and that's no fault but my own. You know, so I lost my support network and started getting myself in trouble and going down the wrong path. Things got pretty dark for a little while,
Yeah.
uh, but here I am.
And let's talk about here I am. All right. So here I am today, this day and age. I want you to talk to me about your nonprofit that you and your brother-in-law, is it brother-in-law? You,
Brother-in-law who is also a dog handler.
who is also a dog handler. So let's talk about this nonprofit. What was the vision for creating it, and what are you guys doing at this point with it?
Man, right now we're a nonprofit organization.
Uh-huh.
Uh, FOIA Duck Hunters. Uh, FOIA stands for Focus on Your Abilities.
Uh-huh.
But when we're not on camera, I'll tell you what it really stands for. Uh,
Hey, this is not a kid-friendly show. You can say whatever you want, man.
okay, cool.
Yeah.
So we're on this hunt. My brother-in-law and I are on a hunt, and we're actually in Mississippi with Cody Hallmark. Happens to be another dog handler. Mentioned him earlier.
Okay.
Uh, we're up there duck hunting, and we're with this old duck hunter. I mean, he's probably been hunting for 65 years, man. He
Wow.
knows ducks.
Yeah.
Um, but it was like being in damn boot camp all over again.
Yeah.
This dude was all over us like white on rice. Are you guys going to shoot? I thought you guys were Marines. I thought you guys
Oh,
were birds. I mean, he was rough.
yeah.
Well, at one point, he yells, "Are you boys going to get your fingers out your ass?" FOIA.
Yep, got it.
Well, my wife said, "Hey, y'all know you can't. That's not going to work.
Yeah,
It's going to work. You got to come up with something better than that." And
yeah.
she got up with focus on your abilities as opposed to the disabilities.
Of your
Uh,
fingers out your ass.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
hilarious.
But we take veterans on guided duck hunts at no cost to the veteran at all.
Nice.
Reach out, uh, throw them on the list, and we get them out. And the purpose behind that was on that ride home from that Mississippi hunt, my I could see a weight lifted off of my brother-in-law, who had just retired. I mean, he still smelled like camis. I mean, he just retired.
Yeah,
Going through that retirement transition now, learning how to be a civilian after the last 21 years.
right.
He has lost his community now, his support network. Um, but I watched this weight lift off his shoulders after this duck hunt and after being just outside for 3 days. And on that ride home, we developed FOIA.
Nice.
Hey, if that feeling happened to us
Right.
and is kind of healing us in a way, we need to get other guys out there,
Yep. Makes sense.
get outside where they're comfortable, doing something that brings back some memories. You gotta have gun safety. You gotta have rules. You got
A little bit of
all
brotherhood. Yeah.
all the stuff that's familiar to you being in the military. And we chose duck hunting obviously because in a duck blind we can sit and talk.
Yep.
The birds start coming over and then you quiet down, do
Right.
what you got, hopefully drop a few,
Yeah.
and you can go right back to talking.
Nice.
We figured out that talking in a blind and talking around a campfire is way better for a lot of us
Yeah.
than being cooped up inside four walls talking to somebody that doesn't really understand us.
Yeah. No, it makes perfect sense, man. I love the vision, and that's I imagine duck commanders, all them kids that they had, all them sons and nephews. Yeah, I see it. And you even threw the Uncle Si Hey in there too. So you
I,
did good. Hey, but look, man, that's admirable. Sometimes veterans just need somebody to talk to. And it is
absolutely.
hard. It is so hard to talk to somebody about veteran issues with non-veterans. You have your support network at home, your wife and your family and all that. But even so, even that, there's some things I won't discuss with my wife. I'm gonna discuss it with another veteran, right? Uh,
Absolutely.
one that I trust, one that I love, one that I know is gonna feel what I felt on that, right? Um,
Right.
so you guys are out there doing God's work. Thank you for that. We lose way too many veterans to suicide every day. Every year, the number just keeps getting higher and higher. And I like the fact that you're doing a couple different things. One, getting them out of the house, right? It's no cost to the veteran. You're putting a gun back in their hand. You got brotherhood, you got community. Just that. And what else you gonna do in a duck blind? You better you better talk to me. I see you
That's
pull out the iPhone in the duck blind. It's going in the water, man.
right.
So I can appreciate that. And so I did see, man, that you guys have something coming up with the U.S. War Dogs Association.
We're actually that would definitely be my brother-in-law Mo.
Yeah.
He's working with been in conversations with Willingham,
Yep.
and we're trying to maybe hook up a a hunt in Maryland somewhere around him, get onto some sea ducks, do something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe bring some old instructors and things like that back together for a hunt, and
Yeah.
just just see how that goes. I know I'd love to see a bunch of y'all again.
Well, I
Just kind
tell you what, there ain't no better coordinator of reunions of K9 folks than Chris Willingham.
right.
And man, that's a great collaboration with FOYA, U.S. War Dogs Association. Almost every guest I have, Chris's name comes up. So I'm so excited. We've been trying to get schedules together to coordinate and get an interview. And matter of fact, I was supposed to interview him yesterday, and Chris is a busy man. Something came up. So we're locked down for the 13th, but I'm real excited to see, how that collaboration goes with you guys, because I know it'll just build into future opportunities for both FOIA and for U.S. War Dogs Association. I know you shared all your information with me, but if there's anything you want to share to the audience about FOIA, where they can find you, how they can look you up. I found you pretty easily on Facebook, not a huge tasker to do. Thank you for the shout outs. I appreciate it. This channel is built around um, trying to honor those that not only came before us that are doing it now. I say it all the time. We do a really good job, a phenomenal job of honoring our four-legged heroes. I want to shed and highlight our two-legged heroes that stand behind the training of the dogs, the students, the kennel masters, the trainers, those that have deployed out there and made these dogs such a valuable asset, not only to Department of Defense, but to the world. Things that we've done with dogs over the years are emulated all over the world. Our programs are the best programs in the world, hands down. That's why we get so many foreign visitors coming to look at our programs and how we carry it. But yeah, it's just I'm so excited to be able to have you here today, man. It's been a long time. You look different without your baby face. Uh,
Um,
but but what's your brother-in-law's name? I want to make sure we give him a shout out. Say it
uh,
again.
Morris Ernest.
Morris Ernest. Morris, thank you for what you're doing, sir. Appreciate it. Thanks for taking care of Adam for all these years. I know you're probably the brains behind the operation.
Absolutely.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I had to bust his chops at least once.
It
Um,
would be a conversation between you and I if I didn't get my chops
yeah,
busted.
100%. And you're not far from me, man. I'm only a couple states over. Anytime you're hosting any event over there, just please reach out. It might be a time where I can take a ride and go visit and
Man,
rep.
we'll find something. How close are you to Venice?
I'm not far at all. My father-in-law lives like 30 minutes from there.
Man, it sounds like a dream come true.
Sounds like a fishing trip. Yeah. Look up
Yeah.
look up a place called Woodland, man. I'm very familiar with that place. But yeah, man, let's get together. Let's collaborate. Anything we can do to support veterans, I'm on board with it. I'll do whatever I can from this platform, and I appreciate you. It's so good seeing you, man. Thank you for sharing your story with me today, and I'll give you the last words, brother.
All right. So you can find FOIA at www.foyadh.org.
Okay.
We're on Facebook, FOIA Duck Hunters. We are on TikTok, FOIA DH. And we have an Instagram presence, but it's minimal.
Yeah.
Uh, Facebook, TikTok, they seem to be our platforms that we vibe with the most.
Nice.
Uh, any of our current followers, subscribers, sponsors, donors of FOIA, I highly recommend y'all follow Canine Legends and Trailblazers as well.
I appreciate that.
They're going to do some good work.
Yeah.
You're going to learn a lot. You're going to really get an insight to some stuff that most people would never understand.
Well, I appreciate that. It's turning into a history channel, man, and I like it.
It's good. It's good.
Yeah, yeah, good deal.
If you don't
Uh,
agree, you're forced to repeat it.
well, yeah, hey man, it is what it is. It's a good opportunity for someone to tell their story, right? And 20 years from now, 30 years from now, your grandkids can pull up YouTube in their eyeball, with all the technology we have, and like, oh, that's my grandpa right there. So that's so
Yeah,
cool, man. I love that.
yes, sir. And again, I appreciate the opportunity. I appreciate the platform. Um, I appreciate your time, man. Time's the
Yeah.
most thing we have.
Yeah, we don't have much of it, man. Take advantage of every moment you have. So good to see you, man. I'm glad you're doing well. You look great. I'm following you on FOIA. I can't wait to see some updates on there. And man, God bless you. That's all I'll have to say, bro.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you.
All right, man.